Maayong adlaw. Welcome to season 3 of Pilipinx in Wellness. I'm your host, Cheryl Sampson Ramirez. In our last episode, we spoke with Dr. David Richard about integrative natural health, looking at healthcare in a preventative manner and aiding the body to heal itself naturally. We hope that you enjoyed it. For our first episode of season 3, we will be exploring dentistry and capoeira with dental hygienist and owner of Capoeira Batuque, Daly City, Nes Marco Morales, also known as Kuya Galo. Before we begin, we'd like to mention that we uphold and honor the safe space to share. We ask everyone to pose comments and questions on our platform in a peaceful and respectful manner. Our pre-recorded episodes are accessible through our Philippine X and Wellness YouTube channel. The audio recordings are available via Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All views discussed are for informational and educational purposes only. It is not meant to be medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare practitioner for your particular condition, especially before starting any exercise or new health program. For this month's episode, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Nes Marco Morales. Welcome to the podcast, Nes.
Hi, very happy to be here. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, good.
All right. So, dentistry and capoeira. Let's dive in. You're like Peter Parker in Spider-Man. Dental hygienist by day and capoeira instructor by night, right?
That explains it. My whole bio completely. Yes, every day.
So let's find out more about you. We like to open our episodes with one of the first questions you're asked when someone finds out you're a Filipinx or Filipino. Where is your family from in the Philippines, and where are you currently streaming from in case that's different from where you actually reside?
All right. Yes. Well, my father, his name is also Nes. He's the first Nes, but he came from Ilocos Norte, Batak. And my mom, Quezon City, San Jose, in countryside of Philippines, in Manila, kind of near Manila.
Okay.
That's where they came. They came to, well, my dad went to Texas first and then to San Francisco, but here I am in the Bay Area, and our practice is here in Daly City, California.
Okay. And do you also reside in Daly City?
Yes, I live in the heart of Daly City, right by Classic Bowl, if you guys know where that is. It's it's been maybe an what do you call it? Unofficial landmark of Daly City for sure.
Nice. And were you born here, or were you born in the Philippines or somewhere else?
Yes.
Another planet.
I definitely soulfully, yeah, definitely another planet, another decade, but that's a whole nother story. But yes, definitely was born here, born and raised here in San Francisco. Um, it was about we lived in Hunters Point, and then kind of moved down. Maybe when I was like around 5 years old, we started coming to the Westlake area of Daly City. But yeah, firstborn, first generation Filipino here. Yeah, my parents, they're each one of like 10 siblings on each side.
Wow.
So all of them are still making, most of them are now here in the US, different parts of the nation, but lots of us are here in the Bay Area now.
Nice.
And thanks to also my parents kind of leading the path here to the Bay Area.
So you said you're a firstborn. You have siblings?
Yes, one of 4 siblings, and a lot of them are also on the same path to dental. Well, my brother is a dentist right now, and we work together here in the office. And my sister's trying to get into dental school also.
Oh, wow.
And the youngest one just graduated college through the arts, but
okay,
some way or somehow she'll be here. Not kidding.
Oh yeah, no, she'll probably be doing your designs and your logos.
Oh no, she already is. Actually, yeah, really? you're very right. Yeah, you're very right. I love her so much for all that.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect family. Like you're like the Von Traps of Daly City. Your rice cooker probably contributed to the fog too out there.
No,
We
definitely,
all know that
definitely.
joke.
Especially here in the office too. We got several rice cookers for lunch
There you
going
go.
off.
Keep your teeth and your skin like clear, right?
That's right.
So let's start with the basics, Ness. We don't ever talk about dentistry, and I think it's
Hmm.
unfortunate because I think there's so much there to explore when it comes to our wellness. And for
Uh-huh.
those of us, for those of you that are viewing or listening out there, the first half of the episode is going to focus on your career as a dental hygienist. So tell us about your origin story and what brought you into dentistry. Was it that your parents' wishes being dentists, since you come from a family of dentists, or did you find that it was personally driven? And
Mm.
and then why did you personally focus on dental hygiene since you mentioned your brother is, I think, a dental surgeon? Yeah, so
Yes,
let's
yeah, yeah,
start
yes.
let's start there.
Yes, it's been a long identity journey for me to find, but definitely very. It comes from a grateful place that my parents, you know, uh, dedicated their life to dental. Left the Philippines to be here in America and really start from the beginning, from the ground up. They knew Buddy here in San Francisco, so when I considered all their story of just immigrating here to the Bay Area, I had to really find everything why what made this profession appealing for me myself, but even by diving into everything that was negative about the profession, right? I think that's where I
Mm,
started because I was totally into the arts too, and I'm still am, of course. It's just I always kind of saw myself going um, uh, maybe um, in the routes of like culinary or dancing, and I was able to still hold all that stuff in my life right now. But before I went to dental, there was a lot of my uncles and grandparents and a lot of people coming out of dentistry, starting the
mm,
restaurants, or there was a lot of trauma for them, and I had to dig into them and interview them and see what it was that made it hard, and finding that back then it sounded like a crazy profession to get into. I almost didn't want to get into it, to be
mm,
honest. Yeah, but eventually here I am. But the reason why is because it was such a hard mental journey for a lot of dentists who just starting out and struggling and getting started. Because I think back then it used to be one of those professions that was labeled as like high suicide rate type. That it was hard
really?
for, yeah. But to fast forward through to
Yeah.
that, I think the dental association really came together on that and started really diving into the interview process and who they accepted to, instead of just being book smart. They had to be like well-rounded into like they started inviting and accepting more people who did excel in arts, who did have an outside life, who are like maybe yoga instructors that wanted to be who are interested in dental, history majors who are interested in dental, and
Mm,
so because the community back then was just like, they didn't really have an outside life. They didn't have anything to help their mental health really be to be on to have anything else outside the clinic. And then imagine sometimes
mm,
even now, like since the pandemic, since the
yeah.
it's hard to find people to come help or find assistance, and then so imagine like a lot of dentists are just working on their own, doing a lot of things on their own, and here you are with a patient. It's like down in the mouth every day because you're not even able to talk with your
Mm,
patient all the time. They don't they're not able to respond when you're
mm,
talking about your day or anything like that. So it's almost like, you know back then that's what I found out. It was just two, they were trained to be perfectionists in a non-perfect world where people can afford a lot of treatments, and then the outcomes are always very difficult for the dentist to be happy, right?
Mm.
So so after considering all that stuff, I was just like, oh, I can't stop dancing, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Wow.
it wasn't until I found out that even when I was finally get to college and I'm still on the road to um, on this path, that I still need to do this. I went to I signed myself up to this some humanitarian work around Costa Rica and Nicaragua. I had my
Mhm.
friends signed up to come with me, and it's not then until then did I see that that I was able to do dental and capoeira and dance all at the same time.
Mhm.
Um, Here we are going to different churches in Costa Rica, different areas, different schools in Nicaragua, and sitting the people down, working on their teeth all day, and then at the end of the day, everyone's still coming down to hang out, and I'm teaching everyone how to dance, teaching them some salsa, some Filipino cha-cha, some breakdancing, some
Yeah.
capoeira. So then that's when I found out I can, uh, balance the life that I didn't have to be in this this box of what was known as the dental world down in the mouth every day kind of thing. It was
Yeah.
just like I could still pursue both dreams. It didn't have to be just one, like how they like everyone wants you to just choose one profession and one be a master at something. But my whole life I've always been like a jack of all trades. I always wanted to continue learning about something. I didn't want to be anyone's master or anyone's like number one. It's just I always wanted to be that messenger that kind of learns from everything. But anyway, yeah, I had friends that on this trip that
Mm.
actually passed out to the sight of blood, passed out to bad breath, and then they
Yeah.
just started veering to the side and just having medications instead. So that's when I realized, oh, I grew up in a dental office. I see teeth flying all the time.
Wow.
that
Yeah.
that 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 really spoke to me that not this job is not for everybody.
Mm.
Even in going to school, like not everyone was interested in the clinic portion. They just wanted to kind of know the ropes and run a business and not ever see a mouth. So
Oh,
there was all these
wow.
all different types of people that are now in dental now. Now that you know they're you see most famous people on Instagram are also dentists. They're hip hop artists. They're
Mhm.
famous yogis now. They're all dentists, and I think that's when the world opened up to the rest of the world for dentistry. That you didn't just have to have straight A's. You had to have a well-rounded life. So I think that's uh, uh, where I felt like, okay, this is something that I can also help share my passions to the dental world, and then hopefully that's something that will balance out everyone's uh, whole well-being and quality of life, right?
Yeah. Why did you
Yeah.
decide to specialize in hygiene per se?
Well, when I was still pursuing dental, I didn't even know what hygiene was, but apparently one of my aunties were hygienists, and she really pushed for me to pursue
Mhm.
hygiene. Also because I feel like the whole dental schooling, when I was calculating everything, it's basically double school or double to triple more school, depending if you're going to specialize on something.
Uh-huh.
Um, and at the time of while I was doing my undergrad, I was also doing my prerequisites for nursing and for to be a doctor. Uh, but by the time I finished all those prereqs, I was able to just stop having fun at school and say, let's start let's start doing something. And it's not until when I started to learn what hygiene really was that I felt like that's totally my alley. Like I'm always sharing knowledge, what I know from the clinic, so basically hygienists are like prevention specialists in the dental world. There's a whole partnership. It's not just going to the dentist. It's really like focusing on different areas, because when you go to the dentist now, it's like you're most likely in pain or something needs to be restored, and now they can focus on bringing you back to health, while I can keep you in your health, or and keep you in that line, keep you in that path. Because sometimes there's just so much information for you to take, and sometimes even going to the dentist, they already feel like something bad's gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has that dark.
Yeah, a lot of people dread going to the dentist.
Yeah. Everyone have this traumatizing image of going to the dentist. So now when I pop in, I say, "Hey, I'm the hygienist. I'm going to prevent you from seeing that guy." But as a joke, but then it's just one of those things that like it kind of brings out I feel like this partnership in the office helps relieve a lot of people. I have a lot of people with dental anxiety now coming in and never wanting to leave the chair. They even I have a lot of people falling asleep now and just using it as therapy, and it has become I used to be a barber too, so it has been my new barber shop. People like to just tell about their life and I'm here to listen.
Yeah, wow. I didn't realize it's beyond your nuclear family that you have dentists. You said you have uncles and aunts too that are in dentistry. So did it? How far back does it go? Yeah, does it go into I don't know.
Well, she's not. So I always say my Lola is also a dentist, but it's really my mom's cousin's mom.
Okay. Okay.
So, but she's always been Lola to us. Also, but that's how far it goes. Okay. And then all my ninongs are also still practicing dentists until that now. Wow. And what I found out here is until now, it's just wow, I'm almost 40, and they've been dentists since I was born. So it's just wow. They really love what they do. They're totally masters at the art now. Going at 40 years, and average here of Americans are about 20 years, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I was actually shocked when you were mentioning that there's a high suicide rate amongst dentists. I never really thought about the mental health factors within the dentistry career. But as you were kind of talking about it sounds like it could be long hours, and like you said, you're always kind of, I guess why people maybe dread going to the dentist is because they dread either hearing the sound of the drill or receiving bad news about their oral care deteriorating. It's kind of hard to deliver that, right? And I'm curious to know, I didn't actually think of that when it came to the profession, when you said the bad side of dentistry.
Yeah, because we're already given, what do you call it, that handicap of everyone dreading to see us, right?
Yeah. Wow.
So it's almost like we always have to earn your trust the moment you walk in the door, and not everyone that walks in the door is happy, right? Everyone's they waited too long, that they're already in pain, and then we can only have so much empathy for everything that happens, and imagine not everyone is patient, right? Not everyone has that ability to be in someone else's shoes, and so that's very tolling in many ways, I feel, especially people who don't see it from our side or from our shoes,
No, thank you. I appreciate you adding that layer of depth to the profession, because I've never looked at it from that facet. So I have so much more respect to my dentist now. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Well, some people do see. I had a patient of ours brought a whole bag of bullet today.
They're probably trying to figure out what to bring to the dentist. on this and make sure that you all can eat it.
Yeah.
They're like,
I'm the only one that eats
it's
it.
not like anyone can bring you all candy or chocolate or anything.
Uh, I'll be. Oh, actually, we get a lot of chocolate. Yeah.
Really?
Actually,
People
that's
do?
another thing. Chocolate has a bad rep. Chocolate, actually, dark chocolate helps prevent cavities.
Oh, really? There you go, people. You heard it.
Yeah, you heard it. Eat more.
So this actually is a great segue, Ness, to our next question. Not too many people are aware of the correlation between dental hygiene and one's physical health. It wasn't until I switched dentists that I even began to know that there was a interdependent relationship that exists between the two. For example, I learned that diabetes is one condition that can also impact your oral health. Let's talk first about the correlation between oral and physical health. Maybe if you could explain to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they're almost directly correlated for sure. Anything that we see in the mouth, uh, and then anything that's happening in your process of healing, especially if you're diagnosed with diabetes or high blood pressure or high cholesterol, you're gonna have something that's affecting that healing rate of yours, and it will present in like inflamed gums. You'll have a lot of bleeding gums, and especially in diabetic patients, we see a lot of if that level is in that out of control area we don't want to be. We have moving teeth. We have some mobility happening, and all that is kind of just affecting the everyday healing process to keep that healthy smile. So um, sometimes um, sometimes when the inflammation rate is high, it's harder to maintain um, harder to maintain something like that in diabetic patients, basically.
Now, we talked about diabetes, Nas. Are there other medical conditions that you see in our community that can alter a person's oral health or vice versa? Like, do you see things in the mouth that are correlated to, an individual's physical condition?
Oh, yes, yes, definitely, especially with diabetes. Um, for almost every patient, we do ask them, what their everyday diet is and how they move every day, how they exercise, how they get everything circulating. So definitely, that has been the pure connection to our health, because I feel like everything that we see in the patient reflects on their ability to heal, and reflects why they don't exercise every day. Maybe because they're always in pain, and then what nourishes them to keep going. That usually relates to our diet every day. So things that how we eat every day, how we move. Uh, are just the basics of what we come to see. And then when they present with something like diabetes, um, uh, in the dental world, we know that everything is correlated to the heart. Everything is related directly. This is the window to to here, right? We see everything. If something is inflamed here and it's hard to heal here, it's hard to heal systemically. Everything else is also struggling as well. So, um, and when they present with a traditional, fiesta diet, we like to call it here
Yeah.
in the office. If they're having rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then and everything is not in moderation, not proportional, you can see maybe the body's overworking and over processing. So we can see that in the thickness of people's saliva. Uh, it kind of
Hmm.
presents like if they have too much carbs in their diet or too much sugar in their diet. If they're snacking too much, instantly notice like the acid erosion in their teeth, and the thinness of
Wow.
saliva in their saliva, like a little bit thin consistency. not able to
Mm-hmm.
produce all the maybe the preventable like calcifications that can help you fight cavities in a natural process. Um, um,
Mm.
so, and those
Interesting.
are usually connected to those who are dealing with diabetes in that sense. And and the one correlation that we have is
Mm-hmm.
I think not everyone knows that uh, that if you're more prone to cavities, if you're have cavities already, uh, this the diet and your first line of defense is your mouth, right? Everything that you eat will help prevent um, heart attack.
Hmm.
All the bacteria that we find in the mouth, the bacteria that are responsible
Mm-hmm.
for heart attack is the same thing responsible for cavities. So that's a direct link
Mm.
of why it's more important, why people see us more than the doctor every year. Sometimes that kind of we kind of give that wake up call when you come to our chair, and we ask you these questions just to see if you're ready to get in that path of a better quality of eating and better quality of moving, and hopefully better heart health. But not to say that
Yeah.
rice and all these things are bad for you. It's just um, they're still good for your soul, right? They're still we're just a window to or the mirror to help you see that um, we can help you moderate how much you have this fiesta food, and and help you enjoy it better and much longer. And um, yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah, when you were talking about saliva, I was thinking about how my hygienist had mentioned that, yeah, if you have a drier mouth, that you're prone
mm,
to more cavities.
that's right.
So I guess if you have a lot of saliva in your drooler, you're great.
Well,
Just
think
kidding.
about babies. We give them candy all the time, but the more
Yeah.
they drool, the less cavities they expose themselves to, because they're just immediately flushing out. And that's another thing too, because
Oh,
medicine
interesting.
is usually changes your body chemistry, changes your brain chemistry, everything. The way
Yeah.
we naturally just protect ourselves sometimes when we're taking medication, it already comes to
Yes.
a lot of people experience like dry mouth, right? Dry eyes. Everyone starts salivating on a regular. So these things happen with diabetic medications and high blood medications, high cholesterol medications. They're not realizing that this is, this is not. Some people think of it as like a magic pill that cures them right away, but really just kind of buys time for them to up their diet, their ways of eating, or buy time to put some exercise into their life, or but a lot of people we use it to buy time to do what we're already doing until we're ready to learn more about how to heal, and learn more about how to get out of this disease states, right? Um, but sometimes we just use it to
Hmm.
buy time to keep working, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
that's the culture of uh, this fast-paced life in
Right.
America, I think. But once you take the medication, we stop
Mm.
all our first lines of defense stop working naturally, you know. And then everyone looking for like what will make my mouth less dry. What kind of eye drops can I make my eyes more wet? But really, they're not ready to let go of that medication that's kind of stopping or helping prevent all these things already, right? We kind of need that medication to keep doing what we're doing. And if the more dry mouth
To
you
stay
have,
alive.
the more
Yeah.
increased risk for cavities, or they're all kind of like
Mm.
related in a way, you know.
Wow. Then that must be. Is it ever frustrating then to have to balance the medication that they're getting from the doctor and then with the dental treatment that you're seeing?
Um,
or it's kind of a norm?
well, I feel like the balance of medication and everything that's happening is kind of is yeah it's normal just to be in that state of uh, letting them decide when they're ready to learn more and how to get better or be better. Sometimes um, too much information of that can cause more stress will also maybe even cause
Yeah,
more trouble or have them not be more
true.
compliant or like some people
Yeah,
don't respond well to all these information, so we can only take it one step at a time or be open to their questions and seeing what level state they are ready to learn more. We can only direct them and guide them to. So when the medical and dental thing are this divide is like apparent, right? That's why you don't see dentists in the hospital or you know, yeah.
interesting. Yes. I want to head more towards a solution focused conversation. I know we've been talking a lot about conditions and uh, a lot about maybe the downside of going to dentists or dentistry. But being that the mouth is the portal, the entryway,
Yeah.
right, to really impact a person's overall health and physical condition, I'm curious, are there foods that are present in like the Filipino diet, the Filipinx diet, that would actually strengthen the mouth, the oral health and the condition that you're seeing? Are there certain like vegetables that people should be eating that provide calcium, or like what is the balance when it comes to diets from a dental point of view?
yeah, definitely in the dental world, we're finding it's always changing, always evolving, but we just now studying as a whole new genus of things that help empower the right kind of microbiota that will protect you from cavities and and you don't have to give up your fiesta food, you guys. You can keep eating that. It just has to be in a good moderation and a better awareness of stacking which foods are better. And of course, the better ones are the high protein content type foods or ampalaya, that magical fruit that has metformin in it
Yeah,
naturally.
that everyone's been talking
Instead of
about.
taking all
Yeah.
those pills of metformin, you can also uh, increase your palaya intake, that bitter melon, all the things that are in that area of healing fruits. We should incorporate into our diet, like um, achara. That all the pickles, the kimchi, all those provide a
Mhm.
lot of probiotics that help you regulate your sugars naturally, right? That all the rice that you like to eat
Mm.
will be better regulated in that sense. The yogurts uh, and kefir, all those things. Kombucha.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, when we were kids, they used to say it was milk, right? If you're drinking
Ah,
milk, it's for strong teeth, strong bones. Is that still the case, or is that debunked?
no, I still believe that that's something. Definitely, not all milks are the same. It's just some are
Right. Because what happens if you're lactose
yeah. I
intolerant?
I mean yeah, and you have to know your body and how to reacts well. Um, yeah, I guess you can say it's deep. Like a lot of the milks that we've been drinking as kids are high in sugar, like especially the 1%, 2% low fat. They're basically sugar water, right? So it's almost
Mhm.
like, and most
Mm.
doctors will only recommend like 1%, 2% nowadays. So it's almost like,
Oh.
especially for kids, for some reason, but then they don't account for what the actual diet of all these kids are. So, uh, you know, um,
Yeah.
only because they want more nutrients that they feel like whole milk will keep them more too full. Anyway, that's a whole nother segment. But yeah, almond milk's
Mm.
not the same. A lot of people
Yeah.
are switching milks for like almond milks and all these other high sugar milks. They don't really provide the nutrients you think they do. They just add more sugar to your
Mm-hmm.
diet. You absorb more things that you wouldn't
Mm.
absorb naturally if you just ate almonds or things like that.
Mm. So is there, for people that are lactose intolerant, is there a milk that's good for the teeth or
I wouldn't
milk?
say to drink milk to have a healthier smile or anything like that. These are these are
Yeah.
just I feel like things to have if you're yeah
Marketing.
marketing that sell or if you're having a hard time hydrating and you need that kind of sugar in your water to just drink more. So not necessarily am I
Mm-hmm.
dissing all these milks. It's just you have to really come down to the basics on what you really need these for. Like if you're having trouble, a lot of people come to my office saying they don't like to drink water or they don't trust their faucet. So then they have to drink other things like bottled water or you know um, or milk.
Yeah. But then there's fluoride, right, in a lot of our tap
Yeah,
waters.
and
So,
you can look up like what fluoride amounts you have in your tap system. Not every community has fluoride in their tap system, but it is something there to provide
true.
natural protection if you don't have that. If you really don't have if you're someone that doesn't like spinach, there's natural spinach. There's natural fluoride in spinach, and you kind of like have to track
Mm-hmm.
your diet, and
Mm.
like this whole thing is always individualized. It's always to the certain person that needs it, and or if you're afraid of fluoride too, then there's other products out there that can add um, that protection for you, like a more concentrated form that we can apply every now and then, or there's nothing to be afraid about in fluoridated water systems or cooking with it. It's made there. It's been there.
Or having it in your
Having it in your
toothpaste.
toothpaste. It's been
Yeah.
there too, and it's a natural element of that we find in the world that's there to help you fight cavities and prevent heart disease and all these things. But of course, there's an amount that if you can monitor how much you actually get, there's a poisonous amount, of course, just like anything else. Like
Mm.
too much sun will also hurt you, right?
Yeah. Well, because I've seen for example, like Whole Foods or uh, Lassen's or Erewhon, they also, or those types of natural food
Mm.
markets, that they also sell toothpaste without fluoride. So I was just
Yes,
wondering why they offer those options if you need
yes.
fluoride.
I mean,
Yeah.
and just like just yeah, focusing in about the natural products, and it's just one part of the whole stretch of that whole aisle. Like there's like two rows or two aisles full
Yeah.
of dental products. Um, there's something like I said that dental is like individualized. There's something for everybody. Sometimes these products,
Yeah.
I research them all and I try to find something that will help um, zone in on someone to be excited about brushing and wanting to brush more. So even if these products exist, it doesn't mean one product is safer than the other. It's just they're all technically safe. They're on the shelf, right? It's just that they're just more
Yes.
there to help benefit the person who wants to have a peace of mind, to make them feel like they're taking care of themselves better. All of them are, I feel like, equally
Hmm.
equally good because they motivate someone to try things to pay attention to their mouth more, to see what happens to their mouth, or feel better about their mouth, whether if it's flavor, whether if it's whitening, or all these things that we don't really
Hmm.
uh, I really feel like we don't really need. But finding
Mm.
that it makes the patient more excited to try things, and then they can go to different
Mm-hmm.
products. There's an endless amount of you know things to try to improve someone's habits. So, but really,
Yes.
if you wanted to zone into the basics, you just need a toothbrush, some attention, something to make that blood flow,
Yes.
you know, help improve
Mm-hmm.
your healing process. But that's
Yes. Can we go through some of these options, Ness, that you tell patients? Can I pick your brain?
yeah,
Like, let's
let's
go through them
go.
quickly, since we're talking about going into the market and having to look at all the options. And okay, let's start quick.
All
So
right,
we'll go through this quickly. So let's start with
all right.
toothbrushes, right? There's manual
Yes,
toothbrushes. There's soft, medium, hard bristles, and there's also electric toothbrushes like
that's right.
Oral-B, right? What do you recommend is the best thing that like for patients when it comes to
Well,
toothbrushes?
toothbrushes, I definitely personally I love electric toothbrushes and soft bristles.
Okay.
Mm.
Soft bristles,
Extra
interesting.
soft if
Okay.
you can do it.
Okay. Okay. Is and we're not getting any commercial endorsements for this episode, but is there an actual electric toothbrush that's
Optimal.
optimal
Yeah,
that you
anything
like?
anything that does more than your hand can do is great.
Yes. Okay. So then
Uh,
floss, what's your choice with
yeah,
floss?
my choice with
Yeah, like
floss,
wax.
definitely. Yeah, definitely wax. Definitely, whatever you can wrap your
Yeah.
fingers around, it's gonna get the most area right away.
Okay. No particular brand either.
Not particular brand
Okay.
also.
But floss over floss picks. Yes.
Yes, floss over
Okay.
floss picks, but well, I'll tell you more later.
What about mouthwash, alcohol free? There's yeah.
Um, Tap water. No,
Mm-hmm.
no, definitely maybe without alcohol if you're gonna choose a mouthwash.
Without alcohol. Okay.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
without
my dentist
alcohol.
started telling me to get also mouthwash without alcohol. Is there a reason for that?
Only because we feel that people got used accustomed to the
Uh-huh.
burn, and sometimes when you have that burn, it's it, when you go through time of we talked about the healing process, and the older you get, the harder it is for you to manage that healing process. Sometimes alcohol is directly linked to cancer, so we try to even though maybe it's like cause and effect kind of thing, but if we can get lessen something that might be linked to that, then why not?
Right. Okay. And then what about water picks? There's also those manual picks like post flossing. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I like those Christmas
yes,
tree looking
yes.
things that definitely as time goes by we start to lose that the gum level and the bone level, and then you start to create this space, and it might be more beneficial for someone to stick a little Christmas tree in there and brush all the angles, especially if you don't see a dentist regularly. This is
Mm,
something self-care, especially for the elders who are losing their insurance and things like that, and they don't get regular maintenance. This is something, yeah, definitely can gets it way better than and brushing.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
they have like those hooks like they're with a rubber tip that you can always change. Is that like a manual
Ah,
is that a manual like version of the water pick or is that different?
the rubber
Yes.
hook. Yeah. So then this is a gum
Okay.
stimulator. I think it was back in the day, it used to be thought that we can grow back our gums if we increase blood flow, and I like this tool because it also helps. It's less invasive than a toothpick, like a wooden toothpick. It's much softer, so when it does go around the mouth and people are using it, it does increase blood flow. So I would use it in that, like if you want to increase your healing process in your
Mm.
gums, you can like push on it with this rubber stimulator that helps you reach the back
Mm-hmm.
parts that are maybe inflamed, and um, your gums may not grow back, but there are procedures that put more
Oh
gum
my gosh, I'm
out
not
there.
surprised. And and then are water picks supposed to be replacing floss, or is it an addition?
Oh, good question. Definitely something to add to your oral care experience at home, not to replace floss, but to get you to spend more time in the bathroom. You know, the bathroom should be your me time. I think my me time is about 45 minutes. You know, maybe.
Oh wow.
Because I have so many things to experiment with. I'm always, maybe twice a year, I'm always like seeing what else is on the shelf nowadays that I can um, recommend to people that might fit in someone else's
Hmm.
life. You know.
Okay. Was there anything else that you
Yeah.
normally recommend to patients that maybe I haven't mentioned? That's good.
You know, I know a lot of people always ask me about oil pulling. You know,
Oh, right. Oil pulling.
they try to replace that with flossing as
Right.
well.
With coconut
But
oil.
that one with that coconut
Hmm.
oil, um, but that's the same thing. Like I feel like that's just something to, in addition to what you're doing. Oil pulling usually is 20 minutes to 30 minutes, and flossing is 2 minutes. So it's hard to believe people are oil pulling every day for the right amount of time, and it gets really messy. So
Yeah.
uh, but if sometimes if you have 45 minutes, in the bathroom to take care of your smile, then go for it. But all these things, everything that you find in the everything, even though I'm suggesting one thing over another, um, all these things are made for those particular people to choose one over the other. At least they're doing something that is better than nothing. You always want to kind of keep experimenting what works for you. I'll recommend electric toothbrushes to people, but some of them will say, it's just too powerful. I don't like it. I don't want to charge it. Or, there's always an excuse, and they want to keep doing this. So, of course, whatever you can do on a daily basis is better than my recommendations.
Yeah.
It's really about learning about what you like to do to stay healthy and improve your quality of life, and keep eating all the good stuff like crispy pata as long as you can.
So, for members of our community, Ness, that are interested in your dental services, where's your clinic located?
Yo, I'm here in Daly City, 7316 Mission Street. Um, yeah, right in where all the rice cookers are. You can't miss us, or maybe you can. We're underneath the fog. And Dental Care Daly City is our handle, or Daily, dentalcaredalycity.com.
Okay.
Or
And does the clinic accept insurance?
yes, we do do the PPO outside network, but a lot of us also we help our cash patients out there who don't have insurance.
Okay. And then, being that we have a global audience, are there dentists in other areas, either in the Philippines, other states, other countries, that you like to shout out or recommend, other cities?
I'm gonna recommend my top two right now. My ninong, Dr. June is Sison in Anaheim. Hit him up in SoCal, California. And let me shout out my other ninong, Jojo Espiritu, Dr. Jojo Espiritu here in San Bruno. Hit him up, y'all.
Okay. And I just wanted to say, as we break for our first half, Ness, it's been great talking to you and learning more about the importance of oral health. We're at the first half of our segment. Thank you all for joining us for our first episode of season 3. We're talking with dental hygienist and capoeira instructor Nes Marco Morales. Feel free to have a quick stretch, refill your water or tea. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Went on a trip, let me tell you about it. I said, I wanna tell you about it. 1, 2, 3. Went on a run and had some fun and got it done. Skin got brown beneath the sun, sand on my feet, good food to eat, and all the fruit it tasted so sweet. What happened then? I made some friends, didn't worry about what I had to spend, and it was good, really, really good. And I came back singing la 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 la. Ay, que cosa boa, la 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 la. Ay, que cosa boa, la 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 la. Ay, que cosa boa, la 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 la. Won't hesitate.
Welcome back to Philippine X in Wellness. You were just listening to the track Coiza Boa by Quetzal Guerrero, also known as Q Violin, spelled QVLN, who is Sunshine's husband, one of our previous guests. As Philippine X in Wellness, we also like to support the financial wellness of the independent musicians and artists in our community. You can listen to Q's music on all digital platforms, and it is also available for purchase through Bandcamp. Search for either QVLN, the four letters, or Quetzal Guerrero. If you didn't catch the Decolonizing Wellness episode with Sunshine and Quetzal, I highly recommend that you watch or take a listen. It was one of our dynamic and first episodes, actually. Returning from our break, we've been talking with dental hygienist Nes Marco Morales about dentistry, and now we're going to talk about your life outside of the dental clinic, because that exists. Capoeira. Some of our listeners or viewers might not even know what capoeira is, so let's start first with explaining what is capoeira and where does it come from.
All right. Yes, capoeira is a Afro-Brazilian dance that or it's a Brazilian dance that's originated in Africa. Um, but for me, it's my movement meditation and my music medicine.
All right. But there's also a combative part, so it's not completely a dance, right?
Yeah, just like the how Filipino eskrima arnis was passed down through folk dance. This was also passed down in in uh in that same culture of a dance, music, art. That's the best way to teach it or hand it down through
Okay.
generations.
Now tell us how you started getting into capoeira Kuya Galo and how you ended up with capoeira Batuque. Well, wait, before actually we ask you that, explain to us what is Galo
Oh
and
yes,
how'd you get that name?
it's it's short for Angelo. Not kidding. Galo actually means rooster in
Okay.
Portuguese. I got that name through a naming ceremony. A lot of people, a lot of us who enter this naming ceremony, or even just who are in capoeira for a long time, just eventually get a nickname, and the nickname originated from, just protecting certain identities because capoeira was illegal for a
Hmm.
long time. So if anyone was trying to look for me, like the police, they will say, "Oh, where was Nes Marco? I'm trying to get him for doing capoeira." It's like there was no Nes Marco. There was only roosters here, only galos.
Yes.
So some. just to protect the identity of the players who were doing it. This, you know, it was illegal for a century in Brazil. So, but it was they definitely resisted all of that and came out. So the nickname was a big deal to protecting the identity of the people who were passing it down through those
And
times.
how did you start getting into capoeira?
Well, so capoeira has I think it has always been waiting for me. It found me.
Mm.
I was teaching. Well, I guess movement and dance has always been part of my life. I used to teach. Also, I'm still open to teach a lot of social dance. So I've done a lot of Filipino cultural nights and cotillions for my community. Um, and one time at SF State, San Francisco State University, I was in charge of studios for breakdancers and to come up with choreography for all our shows. I was in there by myself one day, and someone had knocked on the door and asking if they can share space with me. He came in with a big stick, you know, and I was like, "Whoa, is that a bow and arrow?" Yeah. You guys know what that is. Anyway, I allowed him to share space with me, and he started doing all these crazy things from the Tekken video game. And I only thought it existed in video games. I didn't think it was a real thing that people practiced. I didn't think it was a real thing that happened because you know, I thought it was breakdance fighting. I was just one of those, you know, people that wasn't very didn't discover didn't learn about all these different things outside my culture. I was trapped in the bubble of the Bay Area, right? And I didn't know that this was part of the Bay Area. There's a big community of capoeiristas here in San Francisco that I finally am able to explore. But yeah, that's how I fell into capoeira. Someone just crossing my path in the things I love to do, and it became one of those things I love to do. And along the way, I met Versace and Capoeira Batuque along the way. So this was 2004 when I first crossed my first official capoeirista, Eugene King, and he's still doing it till this day. And 2008, I met Mr. Versace at a karaoke bar, and I love karaoke, so it was just meant to be, you know. It's like, oh, that's gonna be my teacher for
He
life.
sings karaoke. Maybe he does it on the
He
minus
sings
one
karaoke.
too. Who knows? I'm gonna invite him to the family parties and see if he'll also sing there.
Yeah, we sang some Frank Sinatra, you know.
Perfect for a Filipino household. So that wasn't a bow and arrow? What was it, Ness?
It was that magical instrument now that I play almost every day now, the beer and bow. It's a one harp percussion instrument, you know. It's made out of like a baby tree from Brazil and has a metal wire made out of vibranium. So it's not really made out of vibranium, but it has I feel like it should be made out of vibranium because it has like a lot of like healing elements to it when you do play it and you can tune it. It's almost like if you took the piano and took it apart, it's like uh
Long, endless string.
one long instrument and you can tune it. It's yeah, it's this, and then the sound comes out of this like squash looking gourd, you know, or gourd
Yeah.
basically. So that's what a beer and bow is. I wish I had one to show you. Well, it's in the back over there. I do have one, but you want me
You
to get
can.
it?
Up to you. Okay, that's
No,
another episode, the part two of Capoeira, right?
yeah,
When
I
I
know.
invite you and
Yeah, part two.
Gerald or whoever else on. That's already call out. I hope you're listening, Gerald. We're gonna try to
I
get you on to the
know. Let's
episode.
go, Gerald.
And then, well, I understand that you also picked, you know, the track for your episode. So you know Quetzal personally and Sunshine, right? Let's have
Whoa,
some fun with,
yes.
yeah.
It's
How do you happen to know our musical guest on this episode that you just decided to select?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. You know, when I first moved to LA this was before I met Versace and everybody, I didn't really have any friends. I was just always out partying, and one time we just aligned to have have I think we went to Cantor's. It was this nice like
Oh,
late
the
night
Jewish deli. Yeah,
diner.
on
There you go.
on
Yeah, we were at
Fairfax.
Cantor's, and then I was out with people I met that night, and a friend from the Bay who had also just moved there, and Sunshine Quetzal sat right next to me. I had no clue that he was a capoeirista or anything like that. He had a violin with him. Maybe they just came from a show. We were all just getting down, and and then he was like, "Oh, do you?" I think he was asking me if I played any instruments, and I was telling him, "Yeah, I play the berimbau." And little did I know that he's a god in this whole thing. He moves awesome. He's also, I guess, also a b-boy too. So it was an instant connection with those guys, and I love to support everything that they go
Yay! Shout
to.
out Q and Sunshine if you're listening to
Yeah,
this episode.
yeah.
We
Shout
had to
out you
do a quick
guys.
plug because
Yeah.
there's a reason why you're in this episode. Now, let's go back to the capoeira discussion. Have you trained in other martial or warrior arts other than capoeira? Or is it capoeira that
I,
you from beginning to end?
no, definitely. You know, Coming back to Daly City, the capoeira has come. I now train in this Shaolin Kenpo martial arts
Hmm.
dojo, now run by my cousin Vince Ronan. He was my first teacher. His teacher was Ralph Castro and had this space. So yeah, Shaolin Kenpo martial arts was my first movement when I was in elementary school, and I've been practicing it maybe until up till
Mm.
high school. And that really but even though I stopped training formally, I've always been practicing, everything that they taught me, and of course through college and through my crazy time in LA, dove into different martial arts like Kung Fu and Judo, wrestling, um, Filipino martial arts as well. So yeah, just dove into whatever I can get. Even Tai Chi, I did a little bit of Tai Chi as
Mm.
well. So, but of course, it's crazy. It's 2004 is is
Why do you think it's
capoeira.
been the longest journey, capoeira, being in the system for you? Or actually, no, because you just mentioned that you were also training in something
Yeah,
longer. Yeah,
I feel.
when you were a
Uh,
kid.
yeah, that's definitely when I was a kid. But I feel like more of my focus and learning about how I'm growing and staying consistent with capoeira has really um, increased my awareness to who I am today. And every day it seems to, um, you know, we seem to change every day. We seem to be different every time we eat something different, and it kind of relates back to how I um, come to be as a registered dental hygienist. Like how I noticed other people. Capoeira is a great way to learn about how um, the habits of other people or the personalities or who people are or to how I can trust other people has been capoeira in the sense. Yeah, just seeing how people play really tells a story about who they are and how I play with other people and reflecting on that kind of tells me who I am that day. What am I going through? Or it's kind of weird, this weird like connection of to myself, to see where am I at if I'm overworked or if I need time to heal. It has been something I've just been consistent with that became a tool to help me learn about myself and others and in relation to others too.
Got it.
So I think that's why it really kept me grounded and something that I use to also help now others learn it with
With
me.
enough passion that you opened up a studio, right, in Daly City, or you founded the capoeira branch. You didn't open the studio, your cousin did, but yeah, definitely brought it capoeira into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to ask you, Ness. Time is always something that I'm personally amazed by with our past guests that balance holding multiple identities and roles. We talked about in the beginning, you're Peter Parker by day and Spider-Man at night. No, I'm just kidding. You're a dental hygienist during the day, right? And you're and you're a capoeira, right? You're a capoeira instructor in the evening. But what I also know is
I
you're
know.
a son, a brother, an uncle, a husband,
Mm.
a godson, and father. There's just so many roles that our guests play on our podcast. Given that we're on a wellness
Mhm.
platform, how do you personally find the time to balance or manage all of these different roles?
Wow, yes, that's one to think about.
You're like, I don't know, but I'll tell you when I figure
I
it out.
definitely, yeah, definitely. I can only be grateful for everyone that's allowed me to be me, and the journey that brought me to help manage this, like especially my wife and my family, my mom and dad. They're all big part of how I'm able to do what I do, and figure things out. Because every day is a new day. Like just because I figured out one day, there's gonna be new problems that arise and that I can't fail to recognize. But first, to get through it all comes back to being grateful for what I have now. So I think that's what got how I'm able to change hats and be who I need to be because I have a big backup system or
Like a support network.
yeah, support network, and they know that I'm able to uh, learn more and bring back more information and improve the quality of our life from what I'm able to do. So in return, they believe in me, I believe in them, and every day is brand new. So it's not like this is easy.
Right.
It's definitely a learning process every day, and I can only stay consistent and to learn about this journey in life, and hopefully it brings more information for people to have better quality of life in their lives too, from what I'm able to share
Mhm.
and learn. So I feel like that's what capoeira has brought, and that's the gift in the moments. We're all going through this roller coaster, trying to figure out life, and it's just one of those
Right.
things.
So for those people of us that want to train at your capoeira studio in Daly City, where is that located, and where can they find more information on what about your classes, your workshops, events?
Yeah, so I'm here in Daly City, 69 Washington Street, right across the street from In and Out. So, the aroma is really nice. um, where you can find me at capoeiradalycity.com. That's also my handle, Capoeira Daly City. Um, or just Google Capoeira Batuque Daly City, and you'll find me. Yeah. Um,
And
yeah.
before we close, we always like to ask our guests, what are your own wellness practices? We already know capoeira's one of them, right? What else? And
And flossing.
flossing, trying different dental products from the market. What do you do for self-care that might be inspirational for other individuals listening?
What else do I do besides capoeira
Yes.
and flossing? Definitely uh, definitely cooking. Cooking is a big thing that tells me, um, brings awareness to of what I need as a person, as the person I woke up today. Sometimes it comes to me in dreams, all these ingredients that I wake up with. So I used to be an aspiring chef, and I still want to be open a restaurant someday.
Mm,
So I feel like these dreams come naturally to me, and and sometimes I have to imagine myself in another seat. Who am I
yeah.
serving? And sometimes these characters that I create in my head are different versions of me. People that maybe have trouble accepting.
Yes.
Like
Mm,
like say a more anxious me, maybe a more depressed me. You know, I imagine all these things. Maybe I have tentacles. Maybe I have crazy hair. I wish I had hair. That's really not. But I think of ingredients. What can give myself love? What can I give? What can I nourish good emotions for this
Yeah.
person? So, and then once I cook up something or think of something, I serve it to myself or this other person, you know, in my chair, and I come back and eat it, and then suddenly I'm able to accept who I am. So just like I think that's every day we're different people. I feel like we go through different emotions, and then this is my way of self acceptance, like accepting myself that day and learning more about what I need to
Mm.
nourish myself.
Can't
So
wait for
things
you
like
to
that.
open up your
That's what I do for
restaurant.
like.
I feel like I want to eat there because everything I'm going to eat there will be good for my teeth. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I've never had a
Oh,
cavity,
there you
so.
go. We'll have to, you'll have to let us know when that happens so we can bring you back. Ness's restaurant for oral care. So as we
Yeah.
begin to close, I know you mentioned your websites and also the location of your clinic and your studio. Are there other ways that our listeners or viewers can reach out to you if they have additional questions?
Um, yeah, just if they have additional questions, feel free to hit me up at Galo at capoeiradalycity.com or Instagram or Facebook. Hit me on the DM. You know, definitely reach out, leave a comment somewhere where I can maybe find attention. But definitely just hit me up on my website. But it's probably the best place to get my email if you forget it, and then you can
Okay, and
connect
once
with me
again, your
there.
social media handles?
Capoeira Daly City and Dental
Thank
Care
you.
Daly City.
Thank you, Ness, for talking to our community about dentistry and capoeira. We're so honored to have featured you on our podcast for our community to learn about oral care and capoeira. We're excited to witness how your journey continues to unfold and are here to support you as your Philippine X and Wellness family.
Yo, thank you for having me here. Maraming salamat. Agyamanat. Yo, that's an Ilocano, you guys.
And to our listeners, look out for our next episode. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we will be talking to a couple of mental health providers, including Philippine ex Canadian in Ontario, Canada, Bethany Liel Ayup of Therapy Nye, and Pauline Montemayor of Hope Psychotherapy Services LLC, based in New Jersey. We're branching out, y'all. Our yeah, we're gonna definitely get the Canadian East Coast perspectives and add hopefully more global perspectives on this podcast. Our second episode of season 3 will be aired during our Wellness Wednesdays on May 17. And as we close, we'd like to say thank you to our guest speaker, Nes Marco Morales, our social media strategist, Kathleen Torrio, our graphic designer and beatmaker for our opening and closing track, Richie, Quetzal Guerrero for consent to use your track Coiza Boa that you heard during our break. Our advisors Alison De La Cruz, Rian de los Reyes, and Safo Teologo. Our community partners is Filipino American Life, SoCal Filipinos, and Trek Table, and all of our community members for your shares and support. As always, we'll share more about our guest speakers' offerings on our Instagram stories and highlights for permanent access with any of their upcoming events. So let us know about your bachizados or anything that's open to the community, Nes. We'll share it on Instagram. And then
Right
be
on.
sure to follow us at Philippine X and Wellness on Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, and on Twitter at Philippine X, the letter N, well, followed by the letters N and S. Don't forget to continue to hit the subscribe button on our Philippine X and Wellness YouTube channel. Thank you always for believing in us. Be well, everyone. Continue to take care of yourselves and each other. Durugid na nga salamat.
Salamat. Agyamanat.